Hello world, welcome to episode 34 of the Jimmy Canz Show. This is an episode I am going to start, or a series I'm going to refer to as Title Belt Timeline. Alright, so I figured the best way to kick this series off is with the currently oldest defended organized championship. And that is the NWA World Championship. So, like I said, in this series, I'm going to discuss the design of the title, not necessarily the lineage of title holders. I mean, obviously, I'm going to have to make some references to individuals as we go through the history of the title designs. One thing to note, I am not going to differentiate between leather cuts, stamping, leather links, snap sets, curvatures of plates, or the scale of plates. All right, those honestly, usually they're so minute you really don't notice the differences in them. Obviously, if the strap color changes completely, that's obvious. You can see that. If plate arrangements change, that's kind of obvious. You can kind of see that when just glancing at it, like it looks different. So, we're going to call out those types of things as we go through this. So, I said, let's kick it off. NWA World Heavyweight Championship. All right. So Orville Brown was named the first NWA champion upon the formation of the promotion in 1948. Given the nature of the business then, they really had no funding for a title. So Brown used what he had in his possession, which was a Midwest Wrestling Association title that he'd been in possession of since 1936. As you can see, the year is front and center right on it. So like I said, he's recognized as NWA champion in 1948, and his title says 1936, but whatever. He then had a national plate added to cover up the Midwest, and an alliance plate was added as well to cover up where it said association. I do believe that the title at the time was also a welterweight title, so the word heavy was added to a plate to cover up welter. As you can see, it was on a plain brown strap. It had no side plates whatsoever. It was a gold finish, and it was relatively small. Actually, this was a design that was utilized by the Midwest Wrestling Association, not just for a men's title, but also a women's title, as Mildred Burke held a championship very reminiscent of this as well. I don't think it was quite didn't have quite as many gems on it. I don't believe that the picture frame in the center was surrounded by gems on that women's one, from visual evidence that I've been able to find online. This particular design obviously has been called back by the NWA for their current women's championship. So that's a little nod back to Mildred Burke there, not Orville Brown. But anyway, I said it was a gold finish, brown strap, ornate gems, the picture in the center. Very, very simple, very dignified title. It's a pretty sharp looking belt, to be honest, just simple as it was and everything. So, Brown was the only person to hold this championship. And then when he was forced to retire in 49 due to a automobile accident, the NWA named Luthez their champion and had a new title commissioned. This was a 7-plate design, and it was the plates were connected via links. There was no leather strap at all on this particular one. The 6 side plates had 3 designs, and they mirrored each other on each side of the main plate. They were oval and had various grappler poses on them. The outermost of these, if you go from the center plate out, the outermost of these was outlined with some red stones. The middle plates were outlined with some pale blue stones, and the innermost plate were outlined with deep blue stones. The main plate was accented with white gem-like stones, featured a crown at the top with World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion under that. The champion's name, Luthez, was, under that, and it was actually part of the belt. A ring was featured on the center of the main plate, and at the bottom was a 5-point star accented in the white gems as well. It was primarily gold, with some red and black paint accents in various areas to help pick out some details. Like I said, it didn't make a lot of sense to me, and I think the NWA realized this as well, to actually have the champion's name as part of the title, because when your title changes hands, then somebody's carrying around a title with somebody else's name on it. So in 1959, during Pat O'Connor's reign, a new title was presented. So this particular version was again a 7-plate design, but it was now mounted on a black leather strap. All 6 side plates on this one were identical and very simple. They were like a gold 6-point shield-like design with a dome circle in the center. The main center plate was again primarily gold. Had a crown accented with some red paint at the top, floral patterns around the edges, and a globe was now added for the first time to the NWA title, with some blue paint accents, picking out the oceans and everything so that the continents stand out. The promotion's initials were also now added to the title for the first time, and they were picked out in red. 2 grapplers were present on the main plate over top of the promotion initials, as well as, the words heavyweight wrestling as well. And, there were some black paint also in some areas to help separate sections of the belt and have particular aspects of it help, those details stand out. So very, classic, I guess, for lack of a better word. So this title lasted, like I said, from 59 until 1973. And then in 1973, the first incarnation of what is now the 10 pounds of gold was presented to Harley Race. This initial version was on a red velvet strap. It was a gold 5-plate design. The 4 side plates were rounded rectangles with the names and flags of the following 4 countries: Canada, Australia, Mexico, and Japan. There were some white gems on either side of the flags on those side plates. The country names were in white on black rectangles. Now, what I find odd when they debuted this is the Canadian flag used. All right, so the maple leaf was adopted as the national flag of Canada in 1965. Yet they used, the old Canadian flag on the title belt. I don't understand why. But anyway, on either side of the main plate were 7 plain gold rivets, 14 in total, and the main plate had the U.S. flag as well as the, word USA in white on black rectangle. So, there were actually, 5 countries represented, with the USA being prominent on the main plate and not relegated to a side plate. There was a removable nameplate also on the main plate for the champion's name. So they wanted to kind of get back to having the champion's name on the title, but they decided to make it a removable plate instead of an actual part of the title itself. The words world's heavyweight champion were across the top, and a domed globe with the NWA initials in red straight across was also there. There were some kind of accent plates, I guess, on either side of that globe, picked out in black as well, and some grapplers in the bottom right corner as well. So the order of the side plates from left to right when this title debuted was Japan, Australia, Mexico, Canada. So obviously the title in this incarnation didn't last that long. Velvet is not a very durable fabric, especially the way that wrestlers treat the title belts. So a little later in '73, after Jack Briscoe defeated Race, the title was placed on black leather. The rivet design and placement and number of was also changed. The rivets now had a raised outer gold ring, the recessed center painted black. There were now, 2 rivets on the left side of the belt. If you're looking at it, there were 2 rivets to the left side of the outermost nameplate, 2 rivets, between the 2 side plates, and then 3 rivets next to the main plate, and then that mirrored on the other side. So there's 15 rivets now in total, as opposed to the 14 with just the 7 on either side of the main plate that there was before. And the order of the side plates was also changed when they placed it on the black leather, and it now went Mexico, Australia, Canada, and Japan, going from left to right when looking at the belt. So in 1977, the title got a slight refurbishment due to damage that it had sustained. Funny though, they still didn't correct the Canadian flag. So they go through this refurbishment and they don't change that Canadian flag. Anyway, the paint was inverted on the names of the countries. So now the names were in black on white rectangles. The side plate order was changed yet again. So going from left to right, it now went Mexico, Canada, Australia, Japan, and the domed globe on the main plate, the NWA initials were now arced instead of being straight across. Then the side plates were again rearranged around 1979. Like I said, visual history is kind of hard to keep up with some of these things. So they rearranged the plates. Like I said, I think it was around 79. Now the order from left to right went Canada, Australia, Mexico, and Japan. And this, lasted from, 79 until 1986, when Jim Crockett Promotions commissioned a new title from the belt buckle maker Crumrine, and thus the big gold was the result. The beautiful, beautiful dual-plated big gold that everybody, so fondly loves. This really is a beautiful belt. Like I said, it's dual plate, nickel and gold. It's only 3 plates now, as opposed to 5, but they are very intricate. Title was actually set on a very rich burgundy strap. But, over the years, due to sweat, baby oil, booze, and who knows what else, it got stained and it basically, kind of became black. But it is a burgundy strap on that original big gold. The side plates sported gold floral patterns on top of the nickel, and had 4 red stones, 1 in each corner, with grapplers in the center. So they were identical plates, just kind of mirrored each other on either side of that main plate. And the main plate, what a beautiful thing this is. Completely covered in that intricate floral patterning. It had the words World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion across the top, the crown and globe under that, with the crown accented in the white stones in it, and then some red stones in various places around the main plate. And again, the removable nameplate for the champion. Gorgeous, gorgeous title. And very fondly remembered by wrestling fans. And this title, lasted as the NWA title until WCW withdrew from the NWA for good. They pulled out, then they came back, and then they pulled out again. And then this title became the WCW title. So the NWA was not gone for good. They, soldiered on, and in '94, when Todd Gordon and Paul Heyman were running Eastern Championship Wrestling, which was in NWA territory, the NWA decided to crown a new NWA World Champion within that promotion. So obviously, with WCW owning the big gold and having that, they decided to bring back the 10 pounds of gold, except they actually now corrected the Canadian flag. So everyone knows what happened here with Eastern Championship Wrestling becoming ECW and what Shane Douglas did, yada, yada. I'm not going to get into that. This is about title design. So not, all that fiasco. So like I said, this is identical pretty much to the previous incarnation of the 10 pounds of gold, with the exception of the corrected Canadian flag. So, side plates are still in the order of Canada, Australia, Mexico, Japan, going from left to right. And, like I said, this lasted all the way, through until, the 2000s, but, also during this time frame, and it's unclear exactly when. As like I said, info is very spotty for the NWA during this time frame, because they don't have any kind of TV deal. It's all kind of house shows and everything. So you never really know, what's kind of going on there unless you're there. And pictures are hard to find. But Dan Severn had a very lengthy reign and did use a customized NWA title. He did revert back to the 10 pounds of gold. But, here is the other title that Severn did carry during his title reign. Like I said, it's kind of unclear whether it was his first or his second go around or when exactly he did. It's like I said, it's very convoluted tracking this stuff. But in terms of the design here, you can definitely see that it's a callback, and it was inspired by the 59 to 73 title design, with the crown at the top, and then the globe and the grappler. So very reminiscent, but it's a modern take on it, obviously. 7-plate design again, throwback to the 59 to 73 belt. The side plates had various globes on them, different views of the planet and everything. Very ornate floral patterns with some black blue and red paint accents here and there. Very pretty title, only used by Severn. And like I said, he did revert back to the 10 pounds of gold. And that version, of the 10 pounds of gold with the correct Canadian flag and everything, lasted until 2002. All right. And then in 2002, when Jeff and Jerry Jarrett started up NWA TNA, and NWA decided that, this promotion was going to be the home of the world title now, they tweaked the design a little again, and the country names were now no longer painted and just allowed to shine through in gold. So other than that, no real changes here. Plates are still in the same order: Canada, Australia, Mexico, Japan, from left to right. And like I said, very, very sharp looking belt. And it remained even after TNA withdrew from the NWA, and the title did return to a red strap for a little while in around 2008. I think it was during Blue Demon's reign, before going back to the traditional black. And I want to say around 2013, it gets another slight tweak during Rob Conway's reign. The country names were returned back to the white lettering on the black rectangles, and that they were moved under the flags everywhere on the title. So on the side plates and the main plate as well. And on the side plates, black rectangles were added above the flags with the NWA initials in gold above them. So honestly, I'm sure I have a feeling it's kind of redundant, to have NWA on every single plate, but branding, I guess. Like I said, this was, I believe, only used by Conway. Like I said, pictures are hard to come by, and everything with the NWA at this point. It does revert back to the previous design with the gold on white, without the NWA boxes, I guess. And it is still that way to this day. So that is the history, as far as I am aware, of the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Like I said, I hope you found this informative and enjoyed it. I'd like to do more of these. So please comment down below. Let me know what title you'd like me to run through. I will do my best to be as informational and accurate as I can. Give the channel a like, a share, subscribe. Be good to one another. Stay safe out there. And I will see you when I see you.